ladies, welcome back to my channel. We are finally back with another video. I know it's been a while, don't kill me. I actually have so many videos already edited and stuff. It's just a matter of, uploading them and whatnot, but we're rolling, we're getting there. So anyways, today we are going in and doing a freestyle fill-in. This was a set that I did about 2.5 weeks ago. So I'm just starting off by popping off all of the little jewels. You can just use like a cuticle nipper. Any ones that don't come off after that, you can just use like your drill bit to file off. And of course, we always start by pushing back the cuticles. So I'm just using my drill bit here to file off all of the gel top coat and the polish, everything from the last set basically, to get us back down to just that acrylic. The same steps that you use anytime using an e-file, you still, they still apply here. So I always work from left to right, top to bottom, when taking off any gel polish, top coat, rhinestones, whatever the case may be, and then just kind of work my way around from there. Because as I always tell you ladies, you have to keep the file moving at all times in order to avoid that hot burning sensation that you may give your client. If there ever is too much friction, you will definitely cause burning. So you want to keep the file moving around constantly, even if it's not from left to right. It could be up to down, right to left to right, whatever the case may be. Just try to keep the file moving at all times, and you don't really have to apply any pressure. If you feel like you're having to apply pressure to get the product off, maybe try turning your drill up just a little bit, but you kind of have to play with it, because you don't want it too high, because that could cause burning as well. But you also, if it's too low and you're having to apply pressure, that could cause friction also. You just want to be able to just run it across and get all the product off without having to apply pressure or leave it in one spot for too long, have the drill up too high. So I always recommend, before going super hard with the nail file, like before using an e-file, definitely try it on your own nails, whether it be for a full set, just one nail, whatever the case may be, just so you can get the feel of it and you can know, okay, if this is how it is with my hands, this is how it's going to be with the client's hands. So these can, they're pretty easy to use. They're just it definitely takes some getting used to. You don't want to go in with the e-file and not really know how to use it, because in the long run it could, damage your client's nails, cause the friction, which will lead to burning. There can be so much that could happen if you're using an e-file and not knowing how to use the e-file. So after you get it down packed, after you get used to it, it'll be easy breezy. So now I'm just going in with my cone-shaped drill bit. I don't even know if it's called cone-shaped, but it's just literally shaped like a cone. So I've always called it that. But yeah, I'm just going in around the cuticles. This really helps with lifting, and just get, if you guys see, look at all that crust and dead skin and just a whole bunch of stuff that needs to come out. Look at that, you guys. Definitely needs to come out, and it's actually pretty satisfying to watch. But I just do this underneath the cuticles after pushing them back, of course, as you guys seen. It just gets all that excess everything out, you guys, which is really important to help prevent lifting, especially when you're going in with that fill-in. But just in general, I always do this. It has really helped with retention and everything. So it's just a really quick, really simple step that will help improve the quality of your sets by so much. So just like any other time, you just go around the cuticle from left to right, right to left, whatever is comfortable for you, and get all that excess out. So now we are filing. I always tell you guys to use the 80 grit file. That is what has always worked best for me. You guys can feel free to use whatever you feel like works best for you. But I will say with the 80 grit file, you guys, it's pretty sharp, so just be careful to make sure that you're pulling back the client's skin. That way you're not cutting them. I have done that to myself, and boy, does it hurt. It literally feels so uncomfortable doing it, and then afterwards, like while it's healing, oh my god, you guys, it makes me cringe just even thinking about it. But since she did square shape, she decided to keep the square shape, so I'm just going in on the sides at a 90-degree angle, filing straight down to get those crispy side edges. And then, on the free edge, which is the part I'm filing now, I always tell you guys to put the nail against the back of the file, the flat part of course, and file straight up and down at a 90-degree angle, and it will give you the perfect shape. I'm telling you, ladies, never fails me. I say this every video. If you guys watch my videos, I always literally stress the importance of shaping, because the design that you do can be so cute, but if the shaping is off, it's gonna be, a mess. And another thing I always recommend, you guys, there will be times where you see me like kind of filing the side, like underneath the sides of the nails, and that's because a lot of times when filing, you can get a lot of like excess debris, or like just, dust, nail tip, whatever the case may be underneath there. And so that really helps clean it up and get it nice, clean, and straight, and not have it so messy under there. And of course, you guys know I always tell you, literally cannot stress enough, that the more you do now, the less you'll have to do in the end, which is why when you guys watch my videos, I do so much with the shaping and everything, because it saves you so much time at the end. So as you can see right here, I'm turning the hand around, making sure I'm looking at it from different angles, making sure the shape is how I want it to be, how the client wants it to be, because in the end, as I just mentioned, especially with the fill-in, you guys, a fill-in, you barely have to do as much work as a full set anyway. So with the filing, if you get it as close to perfect as you can in the beginning, you will literally just maybe have to run over it a few times in the end, and then you'll be done. It saves you so much time, you guys. So now we're going to move on to the next step, you guys, which is just taking that sanding band and going across the natural nail and the top of the acrylic nail, right around the new growth, everything like that, to get rid of all that natural shine, any natural oils. This is important because it is what helps prevent lifting. If you do not do this, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get lifting. So it's really important to make sure that you are just carefully going back over that new growth. And I always do, like I said, the top of the acrylic tip, just to, have the same consistency and the same base. Sometimes I go over the whole nail just because it's just a force of habit, but you don't have to. The most important part that you have to do is the new growth, the natural nail, because you have to, like I said, you have to get all natural oils and just anything off of that nail, you guys, if you want these nails to last. So again, don't apply too much pressure. Simply, like, softly, gently just run it across to get all that stuff off. So as you guys can see, they are nice and prepped and filed and ready for the last 2 steps, which are the most important in my opinion, the dehydrator and the primer. This is Mia Secrets dehydrator. This just goes back over the natural nail and gets rid of any excess oils or anything that may have been left over or not grabbed by that e-file. And then this is Young Nails Protein Bond. This is what helps the acrylic adhere, I guess you can say. It never has failed me. I swear by this. I will never ever in my life use another protein bond. And it's called protein bond, but you can also call it primer. I just call it protein bond because that's literally what it says on the front of the bottle. So, same thing. So here we are going in with the fill-in. This is such a quick step, you guys, if you do everything you have to do in the beginning. So I just usually take one bead That's all it usually ever takes when I am doing a fill-in, and I place it right above the old nail tip, I guess you can call it. And a tip that I can give you guys, do not put it too close to the cuticle. I know sometimes people get a fill-in and it looks like they barely even have any new growth, but you just the reason I say place it right above where the old, like where the nail tip ends, or starts from the last set, whatever terminology you want to use, I say put it there because of course when you pat the acrylic to bring it down, of course it kind of pushes up a little bit, which usually is just enough for that fill-in to be nice and neat. And of course, I always tell you guys, if you feel like it's needed to go back and clean up around the cuticles, as you see I'm doing right here, just in case any acrylic did happen to spill over or get pushed over, whatever the case may be, it's easier to just wipe it off and clean it up now while the acrylic is still wet than try to finagle with it and stress out about it in the end. So as you can see, I'm just going back and patting that acrylic down to blend it in nice. You don't have to worry too much about it blending in nice. I mean, of course, don't leave a big lump, but pat it down as much as you can. And in the end, when you go back over with your e-file, of course, you'll smooth it all out and even it out. But like I keep saying, you guys, the more you do now, the less you'll have to do later. Another thing I like to remind you guys about, mostly in every video, is remember that when applying acrylic, whether it be a fill-in or a full set, you do not want to drag or pull the acrylic, because 9 times out of 10, it's just going to take most of the acrylic off, and you're just going to be reapplying it and reapplying it and reapplying it. You're going to get frustrated. You've done used up so much product, so you just want to lightly feather it, pat it down, and it will all fall into place. I know that might sound confusing right now, or just might not make sense, and trust me, I felt the same way when I first started to do nails, but as you do more and more sets and you practice, it will definitely make sense. So here we are after application period, and we're just going back in with the file. Remember in the beginning of the video, you guys, when I told you you might just have to go over it a little bit? Well, this is that time. So I just run back over the sides, and I always, no matter how good it looks, clean up the free edge. I do not care. I will literally file the free edge as many times as I feel needed, because that shape is everything, you guys. So I'm just literally going back in on the sides, 90-degree angle, like I told you guys, and then I'm cleaning up the free edge. I guess not really cleaning it up. I just like to go back over it for comfort most of the time, to make sure it's as crispy as I can get it. Okay, you guys, so we're now going back in with that e-file. I do want to mention real quick though that a lot of nail techs use like ceramic drill bits to do this step, and you definitely can. I just have always used the e-file because that's just what I know. I will probably switch over to using a ceramic drill bit for the sealing process, but for now we're just going back in with that same sanding band. And this step is also really important, you guys, because one, you're smoothing out the new acrylic with the old acrylic. You want everything to be nice and even. That way when you go to apply your design or the polish, whatever the case may be, you won't see any unevenness or lumps or ridges, any of that. And then secondly, it's important because as you can see, I'm going back around the cuticle. That is sealing the deal. Sealing the cuticle helps prevent lifting, and it just makes it looks so flush and nice and new. So clean, so fresh. It's super important. Super easy step, believe it or not. Super easy step, but it does play a part in making or breaking the set. So here we're just going in with a buffer. I literally got a big pack of these off Amazon, you guys. If you go tune into my video of beginner nail techniques, the link to these will be in the description underneath of that. But these are super convenient, so small, so easy to use, super cheap. So I definitely recommend checking into buying those rather than those big old buffer blocks, especially since you're supposed to use a new one on each client. It just makes it so much more worth it. And that step is as simple as it looks. You just literally buff the nail over the top. Sometimes I do like to recommend to go like under the bottom of the free edge nail to get any excess debris or dust off of there, but some people don't put too much emphasis on that, which I guess you don't necessarily have to, like I just said, but I think that it helps a lot, especially with the shape and just the cleanliness and flowing and everything of the bottom of the nail. So here we are going in with a nail art brush that I got off of Amazon, and I'm just dipping it into my white, and we are making a hand-drawn French tip. So the design that she's going to be getting is white French tips, and then she's getting pink rhinestones scattered all over the nail. So it's going to be super cute. You guys will see it at the end. But for now, I'm going to explain to you guys how I do my French tip when it comes to using gel polish. There are so many different ways to do this, you guys. Sometimes I even do different ways, but 9 times out of 10 I'm going to do the way that you just seen. So what I do is I take my nail art liner brush and I don't necessarily dip it in the white paint. I kind of drag it because you don't want too much polish on there. At least I don't. I just work easier that way. So what I do is start from, I don't know why, you guys, I always just start from left to right when I'm like drawing the U line. And this can get pretty frustrating, as you guys can see and will see. There will be a lot of times where I have to keep going back in with my flathead brush to clean it up. I'm just really a perfectionist, and I feel like I need to get every design, every detail of each set of nails I do down to like perfect, down to the T. So don't get frustrated. That is the good thing about using gel polish for French tip, is that you can go back in and edit it. You know, dip your brush in some acetone and just clean it up, take off what you need, go back in, add what you need. No big deal. It might take a little longer, but it's gonna be worth it in the end. And I always, when doing any polish, really, I go and like wipe the bottom of the nail tip sides to get any excess polish off, and that really has shown me that it helps so much with like keeping that fresh, clean shape. I know sometimes when you apply polish, you go back in at the very end and you're like, the shape's just not hitting how it was when I shaped them. 9 times out of 10, that's probably why. But I just run my finger along the sides, and sometimes I even like press it up underneath that curve on the edge of the nail to get any polish that may have come down from there also. It's just always helps me, and I really do recommend it. And then at any time, ladies, like I said, you feel like you need to clean up or take some polish off or whatever the case may be, definitely invest. They're like $3, and like I said, I got these brushes on a pack. Get them from Amazon, dip it in some acetone, and you're gonna be golden. So I am going to be hopping back and forth between nails just because I did these on the 4th of July, so that I was getting so many texts and calls, but that is why, and I wanted to still be able to show you ladies. So as you can see, I started with from the left side, and I just kind of bring it down, and when I go over to the right side, I start around the same spot and bring it down for them to meet. And you know, of course, like I said, you're going to have to tweak it, you're going to have to play around with it, but it's usually, once you get in the flow of it, once you get in the hang of it, it's usually just super easy. But I just start by making that U shape. If need be, I will clean up the polish, I'm sorry, and make it as uniform as I can. And then I go in with the same brush. I do put a little bit more polish on it, and I just fill in that space. I used to use the polish brush, but then I noticed that I was messing up my U so many times from having to get as close to the U line as possible. It would like push the polish up, and it just would be a mess, you guys. It was so frustrating. So it's pretty simple. I just say start from one side and make half of your U, start from the other side and make the other half, clean it up if need be, and once you feel like you have that perfect rounded French U, I just go back in and fill the rest in with the white. And of course, this is a step that is not usually mentioned, but on the free edge of the nail that most people don't see, make sure that you put, always, not just for French tip, ladies, make sure you always polish that part too, because it literally makes such a big difference if that is not, like, it's so noticeable, at least to me anyways, if that's not polished along with the rest of the nail. It just, believe it or not, I know that sounds silly, but it just makes it look so much better. So here we're going in again. I started from the left and made a U, went in from the right and made a U. As you can see, it was kind of crooked, so I'm just going back in and playing with it, shaping it up as much as I can. And once I feel like I got it, perfect, or perfect to me and my client anyways, I'm just going to go in and fill in with that white, wipe the sides, wipe the tip, and let it cure. And one thing I like to do when I'm doing a design like French tip is I will move on. Once I feel like I'm finished with one nail, I will move on to the next, and then sometimes I go back and I look at it. As you can see, I'm going back and I'm adding some more polish to this one, because sometimes when you're looking at something for so long, it starts to just look a certain way to you. So if you take a break from it, adjust your eyes on something else, and then go back and look at it, maybe you'll spot something that you didn't see in the beginning. So I'm just doing the same things that I mentioned prior on these last two nails. So I'll just let you ladies watch, and then I will be back in to finish off the video. So here we are just applying top coat and then going to be applying the jewels. Now hear me out. Normally I always use my rhinestone gel to apply stones, but since these are literally the smallest stones that there are, and I use gel top coat, which if you use that, you know it's pretty thick, I just apply the stones over top of the top coat. Only in this case, I mean, it depends on the set I'm doing, but I do that in this case because I'm only doing about 3 or 4, so it's not like there's going to be so many stones on the nail to where they're going to collide and just cause a muck. So they're in their own little area, and they literally will sink right into the gel polish. So as you've seen in the beginning, she had little stones as well, and I just was able to clip them right off, but they stayed. She hadn't lost a single stone, and they just kind of soak right down into the top coat. So it saves you guys a step rather than have to go through and place the stones and then go back over with the top coat. Another reason I do it with these small stones is because I've noticed when I did used to apply it with the rhinestone gel and then go back over with the top coat, it kind of would like lather the stone and make it look a little I don't know. So doing it this way, I don't feel like it takes anything away from the stones. So this is like one of the most easiest, simple steps. I'm just, like I said, applying the top coat, and I'm getting my dotting tool. Well, it's actually a really old dotting tool, and it's super thin at the tip, which is why I like to use it. And I just dip that in a little bit of rhinestone glue to pick up the rhinestones, and I'm just placing them on. No nail is going to be the same, so we're just doing 4 stones on each nail wherever we please. And of course, wipe the sides and the tip to get any excess polish off. There we go. And I say let it cure for 2 rounds of 60 seconds. So this is the finished result. So classy, so beautiful. I am so obsessed with these, you guys. I'm so glad she did pink because pink is my favorite color. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Go check out my social medias, and until next time.